Well, welcome back to the awesome Aussie bush. It's so nice to be outside again, and yeah, I can't wait for this one. My last trip was a relatively easy trip. This one's a bit more of a mission. So I've got about a 13k hike in front of me today, and about 700 to 800 meters of elevation gain. So the rough plan, you'll be able to see me, the mountain range behind me. There's a saddle that sits just below the granite peak, which I think is about here if I can see the screen properly. I'm going to try and climb up there, get into the next valley, and then climb up the other side and yeah, go up to about, I think it's 1800 meters in elevation, so pretty high. Now on top of that plateau is a what I'm calling a secret mountain lake. So I'm pretty keen to see if I can get there. Whether or not I get there tonight or tomorrow night, we'll have to see how the conditions are. But yeah, this one should be a really good adventure. I've got a new tent to try out. Yeah, how good is it? Let's do it. Alright, about 10 minutes into the climb. It's scrubby, but so far I've been able to pick out a series of different animal trails, so it's been reasonably okay so far. Alright, a slight change of plans. I'm going to have an earlier lunch rather than wait till I get to the top. So I've kind of learned the hard way that sometimes if you push through too much without sort of replenishing your energy stores, you can suffer for it later on. So what I'm going to do, have a quick lunch, and then yeah, I won't need to stop when I get to the top. So I always find lunch pretty hard on these trips. I think yeah, the old salami and cheese wraps get a bit monotonous after a while. So something I've been doing recently is just a packet of salmon pieces from, I found these at Woolies, and I carry a box of Vita Wheats. If I have, say, I don't know, 6 of these crackers with the pouch of salmon, it's a pretty good lunch. And yeah, just I can eat this a few times in a row and not get too sick of it, unlike the good old salami and cheese. So yeah, if you guys have got some good ideas for lunches out on kind of hikes where you're trying to minimise weight, yeah, let me know. But going to tuck into this, and then yeah, we'll push on out of here. Alrighty, well, the climb's not the easiest thing I've done in a while. Look, it's probably not a bad thing. I think I've lost a fair bit of condition over the last year or so, so good to get out here and just, yeah, climb a mountain. But I'm about half a kilometre from the spur, and I've still got about 100 meters of elevation to gain over that half a kilometre. So yeah, about a 1 in 5 grade from here. Thankfully the scrub hasn't been too bad. The first part was the worst, and it's been relatively good, all things considered, since then. So yeah, can't complain. But I think, yeah, given it's nearly 2 o'clock yet and I'm still not at the saddle, I think it's looking less likely I'll be able to climb the second mountain today, so I'll have to probably leave that for tomorrow. But you never know, might get my second wind after I reach the top and yeah, we'll just see. Well, I just had a moment then, that was pretty unpleasant. I must have walked through an ant's nest without realising it, and I had a number of very aggressive bitey ants somehow get into my gaiters. I got a couple in my shoes, so yeah, they're kind of like little bull ants, they're like little jack jumpers you get in Tassie, that kind of thing. Really unpleasant, and yeah, just like skin's crawling at the moment. So yeah, I've had a number of bites. I think it's okay, just an annoyance and pain rather than anything more serious. But yeah, it's the first time I've ever had anything happen like that, where normally the gaiters and boots do a really good job at keeping stuff out. I don't know how they got in. Oh, nasty. I'm still making my way up the saddle. You can see I'm in like really thick country here. So yeah, not a nice thing to happen in a place like this, but I think I've got rid of all of them. Oh, they're just horrible. Alrighty, well, I've finally made the climb, so I'm at the right elevation now. Now I just need to contour around. Yeah, it's a few hundred meters of contouring, and then I should be on the saddle. And then yeah, we can start the descent down to the other side. So yeah, unfortunately time's getting away from me. It has taken a bit more effort and a bit more time than I expected. So yeah, we'll just adjust our plans, but it's a beautiful day. It's yeah, ant bites aside, it's been a pleasant stroll so far. So yeah, hopefully it'll continue on the other side. One thing I do need to be conscious of is I'm running a bit low on water. So because it has been a warm sunny day, I've been drinking quite a bit. So I'm down to my last 600 mils or thereabouts. There should be a creek about 1 kilometre on the other side, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, just something for me to bear in mind as I look for a camp. Well, I've reached the saddle and I am pretty darn happy about that. Yeah, it's taken a lot longer than expected, so it's now 20 past 3, so I'm a bit up against it actually. The nearest water that I think I can rely on is about 2.5 k's that way, so dropping down the other side of the saddle. So I think what I'm going to do is pretty much just make a beeline for the creek, and then there may well be some camping there, or I can follow it upstream and camp where I did a few years ago. So I've got some options. I think I'm not going to be able to climb up the second ridge now, so that's gone from an option. We'll save that for tomorrow, I think. But water and camp are now the objective. So yeah, let's keep going. So I've just dropped down the other side of the saddle and I've actually found a little bit of water. So I followed the headwaters of this creek down a little bit, and I've just found a pool which I think I can harvest some water from. So that's really good, that takes the pressure off. So yeah, you can see basically this dip, that's the headwaters of the creek. And then I've got a very small pool here, which I'm going to just harvest a few litres from, just to give myself a few options for later on tonight. Yeah, this country is actually really quite challenging to walk through. You can hear that grass in the microphone. There's a really long, almost like a razor grass here, and yeah, after seeing that big brown snake this morning, a little bit nervous, but we should be alright. You know it's a tough walk when I don't feel much. So I think I've been walking now for over 5 hours, and yeah, fair climbing there, but just the vegetation's the tricky thing. Last time I was here I actually had a layer of snow to deal with as well, and in my mind I was like, it was the snow that made it hard. But I think since the fires have sort of come through here, the regrowth is just annoying, and it's not just the saplings and the bushes that you need to worry about, it's the layer of dead timber. And then chuck in some razor grass and some spear grass, and all aptly named by the way, and yeah, it's been a tough day. In typical fashion, I've probably bitten off more than I can chew on this trip, and so I think I now need to reevaluate and come up with a different plan. So yeah, it's 4:15. I've still got, let's call it 2.5 hours of light left. But yeah, I have to obviously redo everything I've just done to get out of here, so I want to have a bit of a think about it. So I've got about 4 kilometres to walk to where I camped last time I was out this way, and that's currently where I'm headed. Now on the maps is marked an old trail, but I remember from last time it was almost impossible to find. It's essentially been reclaimed. Well, I think this is turning into one of those trips, unfortunately. I just spent about 20 minutes trying to find the trail. Now the trail is no longer here, but what I was really keen to do was to make sure I was following the line that the trail was on originally, because that makes most sense. It's the easiest way through the bush, it follows the topography, etc. So I finally found that after about 20 minutes of navigating around. There's a whole bunch of little micro gullies and things which are not on the topo map, so it's very difficult to confirm that you're on the right spot. But anyway, I found the trail, and then turned on my main camera, and the shutter is what looks to be stuck, so the main camera is not currently working. So yeah, it's kind of all going against me today, but I'm wrecked. And I'm wrecked. Oh guys, it's not happening today. It's not happening. So I've just been following the trail, well, the trail on the map. There is no trail in real life. I've been following that for a little bit. It's really overgrown and thick in here, so it's just going to be an absolute slog to get to where I camped last time. And if my main camera is not going to work, I might be able to get it working, but I might not. Then that really, oh geez, that makes it quite tricky to make good content. So I've had another look at the maps. I'm basically reversing my course of action. I'm now going to follow the trail that does not exist anymore, but did once. I'm following that downstream rather than upstream. And to be honest, I'm pretty jack of pushing through really thick vegetation after having done it for the best part of 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, it's I don't know. Everything is just like saying probably not a good idea. So I'm gonna listen to that, and I'm gonna get myself into a spot where I can get out of here tomorrow. Well, I'm following the line of the trail. There is no trail, just tall grass. But you know, it could be thick veg, so I'll take it. Oh. Well, that turned into an absolute sufferfest. My goodness. I've walked 15.5 kilometres. I've climbed 550 metres. I've descended nearly 400. I've done over 17,000 steps. I have finally found the actual trail, so the point at which it's still being maintained, so that's good. So I've got options, but I am wrecked, like really wrecked, so I'm gonna get the tent up. I found a spot just off the trail. It's actually quite nice. I've got a view to the granite mountain. I was going to contemplate climbing this trip, but probably won't get to. And I've got some nice mountains to look around. So yeah, this has not gone nearly as expected. Yeah, I bit off more than I could chew, and just for a variety of reasons, it hasn't worked out. So I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to follow the trail. I'm only a couple hundred meters from it now. I'm going to follow that and then do a 15k loop and get out of here. But who knows? I may feel different about it in the morning. But I am just wrecked. That was mostly bush bashing, and yeah, more than 10k's of bush bashing. So, I haven't done that in a while, and I am feeling it. Oh, it's nice to stop walking. I've got to stop talking. I've got to put the tent up. I'm completely spent. So yeah, I've got a date with dinner, and yeah, gonna do that. I've almost got everything squared away, and then yeah, I'm gonna crawl in the tent and regroup for tomorrow. So I'll probably pick it up then. We'll see you. Like, I'm not even sure if this video is going to make it out, guys. Yeah, my current thinking is probably not, but I'll shoot a few clips here and there so I can scratch something together if I get the interest to do so. But yeah, see you in the morning, if this video comes out, that is. Alright, I think. Oh, gee God, why is that so heavy? The old curse of the first day. Lovely, lovely, just classic hiking YouTube. Yeah. Well, good morning. What's been about 10 seconds for you has been about 3 months for me. So I'm probably about 100 meters from the place where I camped last time round. I've actually walked in last night with my mate Adam. We came in, we got here at about midnight. It was 0 by the time we got out of the car, and then we're walking through the valley to get here. It was a really heavy frost. All the puddles were frozen. Yeah, it's pretty cool experience. But it's not too cold this morning actually. It's above 0. The frost has disappeared. So yeah. So I'm going to give it another crack. I'm going to try and get on top of that mountain, and I'm going to try and find that secret lake. So yeah, that's the plan. Going to go a different way this time. Pulling the plug on the last trip, the one that you've just watched, has given me an idea, and I've looked at the maps and I think I found another way to get there, and hopefully this will be easier and a bit more achievable. So yeah, been thinking about this one a lot. I'm pretty keen to get out there and have a crack and yeah, see if we can get there. Unfortunately, the weather forecast for this weekend is not great, so there's a bit of a cold front moving through. So yeah, that's the unknown. Possible we'll get some snow when we're up there. We'll just have to see how it goes. Alright, I'm in need for a coffee, need to get some breakfast on, and then yeah, we've got to get packed up and get out of here. just saying it adds the yeah, there's a pretty hectic wind blowing last night, so really glad to wake up and see the weather pretty clear so far. There is a front predicted to come in from about 1 o'clock, I think, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. But the sun's even popped out, amazing. And yeah, it's kind of expecting everything still to be covered in ice like it was when we got here, so yeah, good start. I'm going to have this
highfalutin breakfast.
yeah. Yeah.
What's that, a cooked breakfast?
Cooked breakfast. I've had it for ages and I've never actually used it, so keen to actually give it a crack. And it's also one of the heaviest things I've got in my bag, so good to get rid of it.
So you're telling me I should have my whiskey now?
Yeah, essentially. Essentially, that is the most sensible course of action. Alright, let's see what this abomination is going to taste like. How many said 10 to 15 minutes. I feel like that's been pretty close to 10 to 15 minutes.
Close enough. My breakfast is finished and my jet lag gauge is to boil, so you must be close to that.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
What is it?
It's like potato, eggs,
Potato?
sweet potato, eggs, a bit of sausage.
Is it just like a porridge look?
Yeah. Alright, about half out this little first climb. So the idea is we're going to skirt this saddle here on the track and then take it down to the next creek, and then that'll be basically the start of the major ascent. So it's about a 300-ish metre climb, but yeah, the views from the top, assuming it's not gale force winds and driving snow, should be pretty amazing. Okay, well we've climbed to the top of the saddle, which basically takes us between these two different mountain ranges, and it's really cool. So we've been following this creek up next to the trail here, and it's reached this kind of like flat marshy area, and the trail actually goes across the marsh, and the watershed then switches, so the creek starts flowing down the other side. It's really cool. You don't often see that. Look, windswept and interesting, Adam. frozen ground, eh? You can just see up here-ish somewhere, that's the range you want to climb. So the secret lake is up there. It's not quite at the top, it's about 140, 150 meters below the peak. But yeah, it's nice to get a glimpse at what I haven't seen so far. So yeah, not gonna lie, it looks a bit taller than I was hoping, but we'll make it up, and yeah, super excited to get this one done. So you can see this is the spur we need to climb, and then the peaks, and the lake is somewhere down here. Tell you what, that cold front's moving in though. So we're just having a look at the maps and trying to figure out the best approach. So normally I'd like to try and walk straight up the guts of the spur, which is the sort of the mound you can kind of see. Well, I'm kind of blocking it probably, but there's quite a few granite outcrops on there, which can make that sort of country really challenging, and the incline at the start is really steep. So conversely, an option would be to sort of contour around and try and come up a little gully, but that has its challenges too, including about 1 kilometre of bush bashing through probably pretty thick scrub to get there. So yeah, it's kind of much for muchness, I think. I think we might just get down and give it a crack, and I don't know, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think we just go for the spur in the first instance,
Yep.
and then if that will change plans.
Alright, there you have it. We're going to go for the spur, and if it's shite, we'll we'll change plans. We've just come around the track and I've got a better view of the spur, and there's actually an option which looks a lot more doable. It's a longer, more gentle incline, and actually on the maps that didn't look too crash hot. So yeah, it's always good to see in person, and yeah, make your call based on what you can actually see. Because we are walking in a time where we know there's likely to be some weather, we've actually just noted, just down below the track here, there's a creek, and there's some actually really nice flat ground on that creek. And so if the wind picks up too much and we're not comfortable being on top of the mountain, we're going to scurry down here and pitch up there for the night, and that'll give us a nice sheltered spot. Yeah, which is always good. It's always good to take note of those things, so you've got a plan in case, you know, things don't go as expected, which is often the case. So made it to the creek at the base of the climb, and the spur behind me actually looks really achievable, so feeling good about that. What we're not feeling so good about is we're expecting there to be a bridge here, and there isn't, and the creek's flowing wide enough that yeah, we're not going to be able to jump it here. So Ads is just going upstream to see if there's a narrower spot where we might be able to jump. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be boots off and socks off and walk across. So normally I'd walk straight across, and I don't care about having wet shoes, but given the temperatures will be in the minuses tonight, it's just not a good idea to sort of do that. So yeah, unfortunately we'll probably have to take the shoes off and walk across. Alright, here goes nothing. High risk strategy. But the thought of taking one's boots off is too much effort. We just across here.
That's straight across there.
Far out, Brussels sprout. This could go horribly wrong. Well, he's done it. Well, that's worked out pretty well. The start of the spur is right behind me here. We're still on the track. We've climbed about 30 metres up from the creek, and it looks doable. So this camera's going away. Going to pack the tripod up and yeah, have a little bite to eat, and then yeah, we've got a big climb out of here. It's just under 3 kilometres to the lake, and I know I'm expecting maybe an hour a kilometre, but we'll see. Alrighty, a little GoPro test. We're about to start the climb up. I'd be lying if I said either of us are looking forward to it, but the allure of that mountain lake at the top. I want to go see it, so it has to be done. Lovely little campsite. Okay, we made the first major climb of the day. We're at about 1400 meters. We probably started at about 1250 or something once we got down to that creek. So, yeah, feeling all right. Pretty windy though. Alrighty. So Adam's decided to turn around. He's got a bit of a niggle in his leg and was finding it pretty tough going. And the wind is pretty sketchy, to be honest, so I'm going to give it a crack. I've got about 4 hours light left, so it should be enough for me to get there. And potentially, if I turned around straight away and climb back down again, there's enough light just to get down to the fire trail. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do, so options are make it to the lake, camp there. The main consideration then is the wind. You can hear it's pretty full on, so I don't want to be up there if it's just too crazy. And then the other option for me is to climb back down and camp at the creek tonight. I'd probably be doing a little bit of that under headlamp, but that'd be a pretty good and safe place to camp. So yeah, Adam's gonna climb back out of this valley that we've in. So he'll be waiting for me tomorrow. Basically then he'll just have a downhill walk back to the car. Oh man, sketchy. But yeah, we're 18 k's in, we're a long way in, so. All right, gonna try and smash this out and see how far I can get. Oh, pretty wild country up here, pretty wild country. Absolutely unreal views from up here. This is such beautiful country. It's kind of almost alpine, but really granite strewn outcrops too. It's yeah, it's so cool. It's very tricky walking. Basically walking over a boulder field at the moment. There's a little bit of a foot pad. So yeah, doing well, making good progress. I'm going to try and punch this out. I really want to get to this lake, tick it off, and get back and have a little whiskey with Adam. So see if we can do that. So thankfully the vegetation's been pretty decent actually. It's a bit scrubby, but I'll take this any day. So it's mostly just the terrain, the rocks, the sticks, that kind of thing you need to worry about. I've smashed out half a K. I'm kind of on this flat spot that the ridge flattens out, and so it's allowing me to cover a lot of distance very quickly, which is good. And then I'll have about 200 meters, maybe 150 meters of vertical to climb to get to that lake. But yeah, I'm within 2 kilometers now, so it's feeling achievable. The main issue I have is the wind that cold front's bringing in. Ideally, you wouldn't be out in these sort of conditions, but at the moment it's manageable. It's kind of within my comfort. So I'm happy to proceed, but yeah, definitely don't recommend it. Okay, making really good time. It's just about to go 1 o'clock and I'm about a kilometre, just over a kilometre I think from the lake. But it's still 150 metres plus of elevation gain, so yeah, it's not a walk in the park. And I'm 20 k's in. But I've smashed this little flat bit out, which is nice. And the thing that I'm racing here really is daylight. So it's 1 o'clock, it'll be dark pretty much at 5, so I've got 4 hours, and given the wind I'm probably not going to want to camp up on top, so I'll have to make it down again. What a spot, eh? I'm right at the edge of the wilderness here. I can look down into the farmland in the valley below. See all the mountains around. I can see the mountain I need to climb and it doesn't look too bad. That front has definitely arrived though, so yeah, it's going to complicate things if it starts raining, which it looks like it might do. So yeah, quarter past 1, I'm at about 1500 meters, about another 100 meters to go in terms of elevation, and then about a kilometer of distance. So feeling achievable. I'm going to get off this rocky platform and yeah, I'm going to change over to a down jacket just to keep a bit warmer, and we'll try and get this last K done. Down jacket's on. I've just put my shirt over it for a bit of protection in the scrub, and yeah, it should keep me a little warmer. It's definitely getting darker, so I think there might be a bit of rain soon. So I've got my rain jacket on the top of my pack ready to go. But yeah, I'm feeling like we might get there. This really ain't so bad. Oh. Last 100 meter climb, last kilometer distance, we're getting close. Beautiful country. I've just got out of a bit of a fire damaged area, so there's so many widowmakers. Just trying to dodge that when you're walking through tricky terrain with this really terrible wind. So yeah, I feel a little bit more comfortable in this terrain. The trees haven't been burnt here, so yeah, it's good. Making slow and steady progress. Oh. The wind seems to die down a little bit, which is nice. And the sun just poked out for a second. I'm probably about halfway up this last little scramble. It's actually pretty easy going. I'm not going to complain at all about this sort of country. Oh, I'm over 21 kilometres in now, and I've got nearly 900 metres of ascent, another 500 of descent. So yeah, it's been both a good and challenging hike, and I'm looking forward to getting to the top. That's the spur I've been following for nearly 3 kilometres. I can see the top. Amazing. So it's 12 minutes to 2. So maybe 20 minutes to get to the tarn or the lake. And then we'll make a call about what's what and what we do. Last little bit of climbing, and disgusting, something fierce up here. But once I get up the top, the risk of trees should be a lot less, so that'll be something. Warm enough. Oh, it's about 2 degrees at the moment. That wind chill would be putting it well into the minuses, but I'm feeling pretty bloody good. Made it! There's legit snow on the next mountain over. The weather's definitely turning, it's really nasty up here. About 400 metres from that lake, I think, so just trying to make a beeline to it and yeah, get the heck out of here. Crazy. I see it. I see it. It's massive. Oh, it's so windy. It's so windy, but I made it. Oh, I'm pretty excited. I've just hidden behind this rock so I could try and talk to you without the wind noise ruining the microphone, but oh, it's so good. It's taken 2 attempts. The weather is absolutely foul, it's horrendous, but I've made it and I've seen it and it's bloody spectacular. Yeah, I'm really glad I ticked this one off.
Heart of glass, if it shattered, darker days will come our way. I look back to remember memories that never fade. I know why I'm alone. Mistakes that I've made have burned this hole. I pray for a redemption to heal my troubled
All right, getting out of here. It's been about 20 minutes to the lake. I got pretty chilled. Got my jacket on, my gloves. So yeah, back down the spur. All right, well, making my way down. The camera's playing, so it took me an hour and a half to do what took about probably just over 3 hours on the way up. So pretty happy to be down. Really tricky country. It's quite nice walking. I picked a better line on the way up, and coming down I had a couple of bad routes. Yeah, so very tricky, stepping over rocks, boulders, lots of fallen timber. So yeah, very glad to be down. So Adam, when we sort of parted ways, he was going to camp on top of this fire trail, basically at the top of the saddle between this valley and the next one, and that way there's no uphill walking for him tomorrow, so it's all downhill. So that's a pretty good plan. Look, I'm pretty cooked. I've done nearly 28 kilometres in 24 hours, so yeah, I'm feeling it. But my other option would be to camp down here in the creek, but being a kilometre away from your mate, when you've got a good bottle of wine to share, I'm going to suffer that 1 kilometre, and then it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. So yeah, let's do it. Time to walk up. I didn't get a chance to do any filming on the way down because I wanted to make sure I was down before it got dark. And yeah, the GoPro was playing up, so I think it just got too cold that the battery essentially said it was empty. So now I've got the long, slow hike out of here. I think it's about I better check the maps actually. It's not too bad. It's less than a kilometre. After my last trip where I pulled the plug, I really wasn't sure I had these sort of adventures in me anymore. So it feels really nice to have pulled this one off. This is one of the biggest days I've ever had, one of the biggest weekends I've ever had as a single sort of weekend trip, and yeah, to do it in really challenging conditions, it feels real good. It feels real good. Almost there. Whiskey for a weary traveller. Oh, mate. Alrighty, got the tent set up. It's bloody cold. It's too windy for a fire. So yeah, gonna have a few whiskeys and then get the food on. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Cheers, legends. Alrighty folks, well, all packed up, and yeah, this is day 3 now. Well, sort of. I guess we started pretty late on the Friday, but yeah, the rain's come back. It started to drizzle again, so I'm going to probably leave it here. I'm going to pack that camera away so it stays nice and dry, and then yeah, it's just a bit of a hustle out of here on that fire trail. So a huge thank you to you for watching. Yeah, let me know what you think. Hopefully you found this kind of 2-part adventure. I'm not sure if it's going to be 2 episodes or 2 different perspectives of trying to reach the same objective, but yeah, I'll figure that out in the edit. But hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate your support, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Ads, thanks for helping me get to this one, mate. Really appreciate it. See you later, guys. So about a K into the walkout, and yeah, it's just very lightly started transitioning from drizzle to a bit of snow. So yeah, it could be an interesting walk.